This 5-minute-ish video will go into paper grain, the detail of what it is, how it affects a book, and then at the end of the video, I'll give you my opinion on when you should worry about it and when you maybe shouldn't. This is how we tend to think of grain in paper. Long fibers going in the same direction, in this case, long grain along the long side. In this case, short grain, parallel with the short side. Long grain folds easily parallel to the long side. Perpendicular to it, though, we have to fold the fibers in the middle and they resist, or even break. It can also make the page stick out a bit and the page may curl in between the fibers, like this with warmth and moisture from human touch. Short grain behaves the same way, but at a 90-degree angle. So it folds easily along the spine and the rigidity is top to bottom, so it's less likely to curl from the short ends. The lack of horizontal rigidity means that it drapes down nicely too. The pages don't stick out, they fall open. The longevity of some books can be affected by swelling too. The pages won't swell much along the grain because the fibers resist it. Think of it like a rope being pulled lengthwise. But they will swell this way across the grain because the fibers can spread out a little. If the swelling occurs this way across the spine, it can cause extra strain on the stitching, on the glue, and eventually start to break down and cause wear on the book over many years. This way, if it's swelling this way, the pages can freely move, get a bit bigger, a bit smaller. It'll just be a little fraction, and this way it's free to do that. It won't cause any extra strain. So that's another reason why we want the grain to go parallel to the spine. This is how most people understand paper grain, and it's useful up to a point. But in reality, this is a really basic way of thinking about it. Let's go a bit deeper and take a look at what we're really dealing with. Paper fibers start out in a random jumble, not short grain or long grain. This is what handmade paper usually is like. It's basically the same amount of grain in every direction. When a machine makes paper, though, it moves the fibers in one long direction. As the liquid and pulp move and dry, the fibers align in the direction of the movement, just due to friction. The fibers align in what is called machine direction, sort of like this. Not all fibers are aligned, but more are in machine direction than in cross direction. That creates the grain. Short grain is created when the sheet is cut to have dominant grain running the short way. But there are still fibers running the long way too. Different brands and paper types have different ratios of grain, so long grain papers can range from weak long grain to strong long grain, and the same thing for short. It's still useful to think about grain in this way, as long as you can understand how much it can vary. I went down to the Scriptum in Oxford and grabbed a couple of good samples. It's a great shop, and they set me up with some handmade and premium machine-made Italian papers. I highly recommend you drop in if you get the chance. This is handmade, and there's no dominant grain to it. This is machine-made, and the grain is visible here, running left and right. It's not severely grained, but there is a clear dominance in one direction as opposed to the other, more random look. Can you spot it? So when I think grain is important, when I think grain isn't important. If you're a beginning bookbinder, the key thing for you is practice. do lots of journals, do lots of whatever kind of book that you're binding. And if the cost of paper, which can be many times higher, 5, 6, 7 times more expensive for the short grain A4 paper, if that's prohibitive to you, then do the long grain. It's not going to make so much difference that it wrecks your project. For finer bindings, for special projects, yes, we want that short grain paper to be folded over so that the grain is parallel to the spine. But when it comes to practice or premium materials, practice has to always win, because that's when you're really going to get the growth in your book, the growth in the quality of the book, in your skills. Add in the premium materials if your budget's less limited or if you're doing really special projects. That's when you really get bang for your buck on those materials. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope it was informative. Good luck and good skill in your bookbinding, and we'll see you next time.